Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our masterclass here at Remo Whiteboards for Poster Sessions. We're going to be talking today about how we can use Miro embedded whiteboards inside of Remo to help enhance any information session. So the information that we talk here, it's going to be more specifically directed towards poster sessions, but if you're doing job fairs, if you're doing expositions, if you're doing other use cases where part of your experience is a whiteboard that is read only, where you have vendors or folks, this information can definitely be used and be very helpful for that. So my name is Katrina. Welcome. I am here with Remo in charge of education, training, and with me, as always, is my partner Tasneem. Hello, Tasneem.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tasneem, or Taz for short, and I am part of Remo's community team. So I'm the Community Experience Coordinator if you are a part of our Remo Revolution community.
So if you can hear us, if you guys can give us like a thumbs up or a clapping emoji, that way we know that we're coming in loud and clear. If you could say hello inside the general chat. I am coming to you from, it's finally sunny, beautiful, expected San Diego weather here in Southern California. So it is 9 a.m. my time, and Tasneem is bookending our day, coming to us
Yep.
from
The future. I'm coming to you from tomorrow at about midnight, and I am coming to you from the darkened Hong Kong, but usually it's sunny over here as well.
So welcome to our masterclass. If you have any questions, Tasneem and I are going to be bouncing back and forth quite frequently between different tabs. So we may miss a question or we may miss something important that is in the chat. So if you could please help us out during this and put your questions into the Q&A tab. That way we will make sure that we are answering the questions as they come in. So this way we can get to those either in the moment or after the presentation. So to start, what we want to start with today is we just want to talk about Miro and Remo. So Miro is a whiteboarding company. They have developed their entire company around whiteboards, and we have partnered with Miro to provide a third-party service embedded within the Remo experience. So the whiteboards do not in strictest sense belong to Remo. They are just a third-party company embedded inside Remo. So that's why if you wish to use some of the higher level things with the Miro, some of the functionalities are a little bit different. If you have your own Miro account, the ability to do certain things is different if you have your own Miro account. So we're going to talk about those, and then we're going to go into templates and poster sessions and how you can save time as a host in making sure that your poster sessions are really successful with the information that needs to be relayed, especially if they are asynchronous in nature. So to get started, I am going to share my screen, and we are going to look at the whiteboarding experience inside Remo itself. Give me 1 second. And here we go. Our conversation mode inside of Remo. And to be able to get to any of our whiteboards, you obviously need to be sitting at a table, because all of the tables, no matter what kind of table they are, even if they are one-on-one tables, will have a whiteboard. To find the whiteboard, you will click the More tab, and only you as the host will see this More tab, and open the whiteboard. And from here, Tasneem, I will let you drive.
Yeah. So in a Miro whiteboard, you can see you've got your major features over here on the left-hand side, and we've got a couple of other things over at the top right-hand side. So the first thing I want to show you is Katrina is showing you a couple of the features that you can use within a Miro whiteboard. So you can add things like sticky notes, you can add things like shapes, like arrows to connect different areas. You can use the pen tool to draw. You can do a lot of different things, but most importantly are some of the more favorite features within Miro Whiteboard that are more useful for you guys are the ability to like upload images, so like company logos, for example. You can even embed videos. If you've got a live stream, you could theoretically even embed a live stream directly into your table's whiteboard. So you can see that there's a lot of versatility with a Miro whiteboard in Remo, as Katrina is lovely demonstrating while I like zoom through all of these features. But yes, so there is a lot of things that you can do. The first thing that you are going to notice, though, is that there at the top of your screen, there's a little message over here that says the board will be deleted in about 24 hours. Sign up to save. So that message will be displayed on all of your table's whiteboards unless you go ahead and you actually do save the whiteboard to your Miro account. Now, the only reason that you would need to do that is A, if you would like to get rid of the message, or B, if you do need to use your Miro whiteboard or your whiteboards in Remo for longer than 24 hours. So, for example, when you're planning for an event and you would like to pre-set up your whiteboards before your event starts or 24 hours before your event starts, you're going to want to sign up to save your board to your Miro account. That way, that board content will last for longer than 24 hours and you'll be good to go. One thing I do want to point out, and please, Katrina, cut me off if there's anything that I am missing in between all of this as well. One thing that I do want to point out as well is that there are differences within Miro plans as well. So on a free Miro plan, you are limited to 3 active boards at once. So that theoretically means you'll be able to save 3 tables worth of whiteboard content. If you do need to save more content for more than 24 hours, you would need to consider using a paid Miro account. Now, if you are an education or a nonprofit company, if I'm not mistaken, you'll be able to get a discount on your Miro plan. And I think Miro plans range from, I think the lowest was about $8 US, if I'm not mistaken, up and higher.
And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put it's Miro.com for anybody who's watching the replay, Miro.com/education-whiteboard. If you are a student, you get a Miro account for 2 years for free. If you are an educator, you can have an unlimited time for free. If you're an educational institution, you can have a discount on your institution plan. And then if you are a nonprofit, I believe it's a 20 or 30% discount, and that's a different area. You do not need to have a free, or you do not need to have a paid plan in Miro to be able to do these things. You do not even need to have a Miro plan whatsoever to be able to
Mhm.
use the Miro whiteboard inside Remo. The very basics are you do not create a Miro plan, but your boards can be created inside Remo, and they will just expire within a 24-hour service. You can download the screen captures. You can download the information that is on that board. It just does not carry on and live from day to day. The next tier level up is if you get a free plan inside of Miro. Again, that gives you 3 boards that are live at any given time. You can have more boards in your Miro, but only 3 of them are live, and those 3 are eligible to be exported out of Miro or into Remo. The next level is if you do have a paid plan, you can have many whiteboards live at a given time, and you can pick and choose which ones you want to upload. As of right now, only hosts have the ability to upload and import boards into Remo. I will say that we have taken this back to our development and production team and asked if speakers can have that ability as well, because we would love to save hosts time. And part of what we're going to talk about here in a little bit is how your poster session presenters can create their own boards and share them back with you as the host. And then as of right now, you can upload them, but we're asking, can the speakers have this permission so that way they can upload their board as table hosts and save you some times and steps. That is not a capability that we have right now, but it is a capability that we're looking to have in the future in one of our updates, so to Remo itself. So we do have a question in the Q&A. Does that mean that our master account for Miro will enable whiteboards for all tables, i.e., do we need to set up separate whiteboards at all tables? Yes, you do need to go to each table that you would like to have a preset whiteboard set at and upload them from your Miro account, which is, again, why I'm saying we would love, we have taken it back to our development team to see if speakers can have the ability as well to upload, so that way if you have a table host, they can upload their own whiteboards instead of having to send it back to the host, and the host would then have to upload them all. The other reminder is if you only have the free account and you have 3 whiteboards, or if you have the exact same whiteboard at 5 different tables, every single person who is at that table. So if you have 5 tables of 5 people, that's public math. I'm about to embarrass myself, I think. 25 people who
Yep.
will all be on that exact same board at that exact same time. So if you are in your Miro account, you have a whiteboard that you have loaded, the exact same whiteboard, it's not a duplicate, the exact same whiteboard has been loaded to 5 tables. Everybody sitting at that table will be on that one whiteboard. If you want to have a unique whiteboard at each table, you'll need to make a duplicate and then upload the individual board to the individual tables. I hope that makes sense. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if that made sense? Or do I? Okay, I see some thumbs flying. Okay, all right, I will turn it back over to you. One thing I do want to point out, and this is for anybody who used to be on the desk goal, PDFs were a loving nightmare. PDFs were just my nightmare. What I like about the Miro whiteboard is that if I have a PDF, I no longer have to extract it and like all the pages line up. I can just simply click through it'll if I'm on a PDF, I can click through and it will change the PDF pages for me because I do job fairs and I have had some companies send me a 30-page document of their entire like 10-year plan and they want me to put it on their whiteboard. And I'm like, I don't have room for 30 pages, but I can put your cover so we no longer have to worry about that. So you can put up a PDF and make it click throughable. So that is one big update from our prior whiteboards, if anybody had been on them. So I did want to point that out. And then people can then download that PDF if they would like to see it. So this extract pages used to be the only option on our whiteboards. So that is a beautiful update. So I'll turn it back to you, Tasneem.
And just actually on the note of PDFs, that did remind me of one of the other thing that we should point out with Miro whiteboards and with all whiteboards in general, really, is it really does depend on the type of PDF that you are uploading as well. If you are trying to upload a PDF that is really, really heavy with a lot of intricate details, little details that are like all over the PDF pages, sometimes your PDF can get a little bit blurry just because the file size is just too big and it's not being able to render properly on the Miro whiteboard. So Miro does have a suggested workaround. They're just saying to convert your PDF file into those individual images and then upload the individual images instead and then link the image or to convert the first page of your PDF into an image and do as Katrina used to do with the old Desco whiteboard, which is to link that image to the actual full file so people are able to open that up. But again, it's only really for PDF files that are very complex, that have lots of elements or lots of really small details. So play around with it and see whether your file sizes or your specific PDFs that you would like to upload are rendering properly in the application.
Another thing to note about whiteboards is that you are the creator of the whiteboards, but each individual viewer, this is a feature inside of Remo that is viewer driven, that is user driven. So if I am a table host and I click on this video and I would like everybody to watch this video at the same time, I need to explain, okay, everybody, let's watch this video at the same time because the board itself is asynchronous. It is not like a shared screen. So right now I am sharing my screen and I'm forcing everybody who is watching with me to see what I am seeing when I'm seeing it. The board is different. I can be clicking on this YouTube video. Tasneem can be clicking on the PDF. Somebody else can be zooming in over here. So I'm zooming in and I'm looking at this. This is my own personal view. Anybody else who is using the board will have their own personal view. They can be wherever they are on the board, doing whatever they are on the board. So boards are asynchronous in that manner. I have another question. Since students have free Miro for 2 years, if they're working in a group, does that mean the host can save their work from the session to the admin account and then duplicate it to the student's account? That is a great question, and we are going to hold on to that for 1 second because that is going to be something we're discussing a little bit later. If we do not fully answer that question, can you please circle back around to let us know that we did not fully answer that? Thank you. Next, Tasneem.
The last thing that I want to demonstrate within the Remo whiteboards, within the Miro whiteboards in Remo, I'm always going to get confused. They sound too similar. All right. So, and that is how you can actually import whiteboards from your Miro account. Now, you might have heard me and Katrina kind of throw around the words import and Miro account and all of that, and you might not have a proper kind of understanding of what that means. And so basically importing whiteboards means that you have your own Miro account. You open up your Miro account, and this is all outside of Remo. You open up your Miro account, you can create your whiteboards in Miro itself, and all you have to do is open up your Remo account then and just import the board that you created from your Miro account into Remo. And so to do that, you're just going to click on that little downward arrow that Katrina is hovering over right now. You're going to click on that downward arrow, and that's actually going to open up a little pop-up on your screen. And within that pop-up, that should automatically sync to your Miro account. So if you are already logged in, it's okay. The pop-up's not showing just because Katrina
Okay,
is not sharing her.
give me 2 seconds. I have
Okay.
to go. I didn't log into my Miro account, so I'm so sorry. Give me 2 seconds so I get this set up. Tasneem, can you, while we're here, I do want to say that this can be a little confusing. There is an up arrow, which to me would look like import, but that's actually the export. So on the left-hand side of the screen is where you export a board. On the inside of this, on the right-hand side of the screen is where you import a board with a down arrow. So their arrows to me are a little bit confusing. I'm going to come back into the window we're on. So excuse me for 1 second. I'm going to share my entire computer. I'm going to share my entire screen here. And as I go into, can you see the pop-up now, Tasneem?
Yes. So after you click the downward arrow, if you are already logged into a Miro account, your Miro account will pop up with all the boards that you've created inside your own Miro account. If you are not logged in, it's just going to prompt you to sign into your Miro account first, and that'll take you to the same page. So over here, as you can see, Katrina is scrolling through our lovely collection of Miro whiteboards that we've been playing around with. And in order to import one of them, all you're going to do is click on the whiteboard that you'd like to import. And now you're going to have a couple of access settings that you can choose from. So you can choose between anyone can edit. So that's really for the whiteboards or the experiences where you want everybody on your table to be able to collaborate together and edit different aspects of that whiteboard. The second one is anyone can comment. So that one is, again, no sign in required. So everybody on your table, whoever's using the whiteboard, they will only be able to add comments to the whiteboard. They won't be able to use any of the other features like adding sticky notes or adding text or adding shapes or anything like that. The third one is the anyone can view. So that's the one that we're going to be focusing on a lot during today's masterclass because we are focusing on poster sessions. And so that's the setting that you're going to want to use if the content that you have on your whiteboard, you don't necessarily need anybody to be interacting with it in that sense. You just want people to be able to read and digest the information that you have on the whiteboard. And private.
Oh, right, and really quickly, for folks who, again, who may be familiar with the desk goal, this feature was not available. So people would ask, especially people with student needs, how can I lock the whiteboard so nobody can put anything on it? How can I make it so that people can't like draw on it or move things around? That wasn't necessarily a great possibility before. We had a workaround for it, but this is the setting on how you can do that. Anyone can view, no sign in required. It makes the board view only, and it takes away all but two of these maneuver bars. So, and they are not functional so that you can't put anything on it. Sorry, Tasneem.
And that's a great best practice as well. And that final option over there is the private one. So this one is not a setting that I'm imagining a lot of event hosts will be using because it does take a lot of setup beforehand. You're going to need to add everybody that you want to be able to use or access your whiteboard to your Miro whiteboard first. And then you're going to have to make sure that your guests are using that same email address. But the option is there if you would like to play around with it. But we're really going to focus on that anyone can view option for today. So once you do, you just click on the anyone, select whatever access setting you like, and that board is going to import directly into your Miro account. Yeah, so.
And and this is what I was talking about, is that we are in view only mode. The text is gone. So there is nothing that I can do to this board except view it, and I can zoom in and I can zoom out. On the board itself, I do have the functionalities where I can click play. I can scroll through the PDF to be able to read it. If something is hyperlinked inside one of my slides that I have set up, I can do that as well. So if there's a link to Facebook, or if there's a link to a website, or if there's a link to something, that will be active. But as far as being able to manipulate this board, as far as being able to like move something around because I accidentally clicked on it, that capability is no longer there. But the photos, again, downloadable. Anything that you want to have downloadable can be downloadable. Um, Even here, I can copy the link. Um, so it says I'm a viewer on this board, ask the editor for rights. So it's a lot more secure. And this is why we feel that for a lot of poster sessions, a lot of the information is proprietary, and you don't want it necessarily to be copied. You don't necessarily want it to be out there. Does it mean somebody can't take their screen and do a screenshot of it? Of course, you can only control so much with a computer. But when it comes to interactivity, it does give a lot more protections for folks who do have some proprietary information. And the other good thing is when it lives this way, I can now, if it's time for this board to not be live like this anymore. So I've done my presentation. I only want my board to live for 30 minutes. I can go in, I can create a new board, and that information is gone. So I can control as the host if there are proprietary things, if this board only needs to have a certain amount of life, it's good. But if I'm doing multiple poster sessions, because that board was created and built in Miro, it can be used and updated and edited inside the Miro account and just be brought in to Remo and taken out to Remo. And then say if you have 4 other poster sessions that you have to do, you already have it created, and it's easier for you to use for follow-on events as well. I'm going to here and come back into our presentation. So those are a couple of the things that we can do. I'm going to go into Miro itself right now so you can see what the back end of a Miro account looks like.
And just while Katrina pulls that up as well, I just want to point out that we are running through a couple of the Miro features quite quickly. So we actually did do a previous masterclass.
Sorry, wrong. That's the wrong one that I have up. Apparently,
We actually did do a previous masterclass where we did discuss some of the key Miro features. So I'll put the link to the recording in the general chat as well.
This is what the back end, if you have a Miro account, whether it is free or whether it is paid, and by free, I mean free as in you have boards, not free as in if you have the free student or free free educator, because if it is listed as the free student or free educator, you still have all the capabilities as if it were a paid board. So this is what a paid account looks like. From the back end. And then what you didn't see is they have a change log. So anything that they have that's popped up, you have that change log that will come in. You can go through a lot of their learning process in the back end as well. But what we want to switch to now is talking about the templates. And that I believe gets to some of your question about since students have the free Miro for 2 years, they're working in a group, how can they save their work to the session admin account? So this is kind of what we're going to talk about now. We're going to pivot. So we understand that there's a couple different types of poster sessions. So we wanted to show you the various levels of what you can do. So we do know that there are some more informal, maybe just student project type poster sessions. And with that, you can do something a little bit more simple. And we have some of these boards when we go into conversation mode. Here's a simple template that you can create. So you're created as the teacher, as the board guider. you have an example of this is where this goes. This is where this goes. This is where this goes. And in this more informal example, you may want to be able to import this as comment only. So this is where this template builder allows for comments to happen. So there's a question from student 2, answer from the author or the poster. So this is more of an asynchronous presentation. What they have said is, this is where your PDF file is going to go. This is where your video is going to go. And they have made it very simple for the students and for the folks to be able to do this. And I personally love Natalia Tarina, who created this, because she has rickrolled literally everybody who is using this template, because her poster session is about Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up, to include the video. So this is her example of what it looks like. So this is how you can create something for, you know, your job fair employers, for your poster session hosts. So this way, if you create a template that they can use, what I find is that the blank white space can be intimidating to people, and they just stare at it, and it's, what do I put where? How do I do this? If you give a template that's a little bit more guided, that's going to help them out. It's also going to help you out by not having to go in and reformat and do a whole lot of work. But it's also going to help your guests who are viewing these boards have a uniform experience. So as they go from table to table to table to table, things are going to look pretty similar. So they'll know where to look for what information. And if for your session you are giving your presenters the option, you can say, here's where a video goes. But if they don't have a video, they can easily just delete that area instead of leaving it blank. So this is an example, again, of a type of a board where you may want to import it as a comment only. So this way, if folks are going to be able to leave a comment, if it's truly asynchronous, that it's not going to be structured in your event where the table host is going to be there the whole time, and they're going to give like 30 minutes on this, 30 minutes at this time, 30 minutes at this time, 30 minutes at this time. That includes a little bit of a Q&A. This is a good for either an informal, more of like a student project based, or also a comment only. So I'm going to go back out of this one. And then, as we showed you this a few times, this is an example of something that somebody has populated in. You can create, this has all the colors from this presentation template, but where it comes from is what I showed you earlier. This is the template that it is based on. So in the template, you see there's no photographs. It is just black and white. And you as the host, especially if you are from a university or a school, you can already have your university or school branding. If this is an event that has been sponsored by somebody, you can have their branding and their logo already set up on the template. And then you say, okay, with those little sticky notes, I can go in here and say, oops, sorry, I want a sticky note. I can go in here and say, insert photo. And then I can draw that little line to where I want them to insert their photo. So this way I can have this template very clear. And at the very bottom, I can say, please delete all template corrections before publishing. I just need to put that up really quickly. And the way that I look at building these whiteboards, if you can make a PowerPoint presentation, you can make a whiteboard pretty easily. So you just build in the placeholders. And then Taz, I'm going to turn it back over to you, because I'm not actually in our event right now, so I don't know if there's any questions.
Nope, we don't have any questions at the moment.
Okay. So do you want to talk about sharing, how we can share the templates that we've created?
Sure. So with all the hard work that you guys are going to do creating all of these templates to make, like what Katrina mentioned, give your guests a more uniform experience, let your speakers feel a little bit more comfortable, make them feel less intimidated with a blank whiteboard screen. We've actually kind of come up with a way that you can share your templates with your speakers and have them then fill in their templates and then share back their version to you, so then you can go ahead and import it into your Remo event. So we've got a little demonstration for you. So I'm also going to share my screen. Katrina, can you share your entire screen as well? And then we can take everybody through that.
Yes. Okay. Are you seeing my whole screen? Oops. Yes, you are. Sorry. I can't jump back once I have my whole screen shared.
All right, so apologies. You're going to see me and Katrina again because I need to see the screen to be able to talk this through. So in our little demonstration, Katrina is going to be the event host. So she's the one that's created this beautiful template, and I'm going to act as the speaker for the event. So I'm the one that's responsible for filling in my proprietary research or my proprietary presentation, whatever it is that I would like to demonstrate or present in our upcoming poster session. So Katrina's gone ahead and she's created this template. All she is going to do is she is going to go ahead and click, yeah, she's a smart event host. She's going to go ahead and put master at the beginning of the whiteboard title. And all she's going to do once she's happy with the template is she's going to go ahead and click that blue share button in the upper right hand corner of her screen. That's another best practice, best tip. Thank you, Katrina. So what she's going to do is once she's clicked that share button, that basically allows her to adjust her sharing settings for this particular whiteboard. So we're primarily interested in the third sharing setting, the one that says anyone with the link, and currently it's set to no access. So we're going to go ahead and click that drop down menu, and we're going to change that to either can view or can edit. So whichever one you'd like. I will point out though that on a free plan, you're only able to, I believe it's can edit and potentially one of the other ones. But again, it does not matter whether you're on a free plan or a paid plan at this point, because you can use any of those sharing settings. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and click copy board link. And that copies it to your clipboard. So Katrina, do you mind sharing that link with me either in Remo or in Slack, however you want?
Yep. Everybody is going to, sorry, we're going to see Inception here. So here is, I'm sending this to you in the message here. So everybody, you guys can all see this as well. Anybody who wants to go play on this, I have it set up. So this is the board that I just copied. I have just put it right here inside our event.
All right, so now I, as the speaker, have received that board link. So again, this really depends on how you want to share your board link with your speakers. So however you're communicating, however best you feel, you can communicate that board link over to your speakers, whether it's through email, whether it's through speaker packets or onboarding sessions, whatever you feel is the best way for your particular speakers.
Yeah.
So
and
now
sorry, I know that some of you guys have jumped in here. So I have hidden your cursors. So if you guys can please not manipulate on this board while we are in here demonstrating, that would be really great. Thank you.
All right, so as a speaker, this is actually a free plan that you're seeing on my screen right now. So you can see what we mean by having only 3 boards, or the latest 3 boards, be active. So you can see here are my 3 latest boards, and all the rest have been set to view only, which basically means that I can't input them or I can't edit them any further because they're inactive at the moment. But that's all right. All I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the link to the board that Katrina or the event host created. That is the master template. That's going to take a little bit of time for Miro to load up, also because my internet's not that great at the moment. Just bear with me for a little bit. All right.
Pam is asking, can you upload a PowerPoint without using a template? I'm not 100% sure what you mean by without using a template. You can upload a PowerPoint at any given point in time. So if you just want to have a PowerPoint be viewed as something on the whiteboard at any given time, you can do that. So PowerPoints are importable into Miro either through a Miro account or through a remote to the hosted whiteboard. One thing really quickly that I forgot to point out, if you look on the left-hand side, because we are inside Miro, you'll see what I was talking about earlier about extra tools that you can use on the bottom row and on the side row. So there are extra tools and extra things that you can use to create a board above some of the basic things that you can use inside of Remo. Sorry, Taz.
No, of course. All right, so now as a speaker, I can see that I've got the template. Of course, as a speaker, I'm not going to mess around with the master template. So I want to duplicate this master template and save it to my own Miro account. So in order to duplicate a board, all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the board title over here. And I'm going to press duplicate. And again, because I've already got 3 active boards at the moment, it's just going to let me know that the third latest board that I was using, or basically one of the boards that I was using or was previously active, is going to turn inactive. So that's fine with me. I'm going to click duplicate board. And that opens up another tab, and that will open up the duplicated version of the template that your event host has created. So again, while we wait.
And also, this is to duplicate these boards. This is the exact same way inside your Miro account. You duplicate boards if you want to have a unique board experience for every individual table and not have 50 people be on one board. So
absolutely. All right, so just for the course of this demonstration, I'm not going to make too many edits over here. All I'm going to do is delete a couple of the sticky notes and the arrows that Katrina has put over. All right. So all I've done is deleted that sticky note and that arrow. And what I'm going to do is, now that that has been saved into my board, I'm going to go ahead and rename this following Katrina's suggestions. So I'm going to go ahead and click that whiteboard title once more. And because now it's my own whiteboard, the pop-up that appears is actually to be able to edit board settings. So this is actually where you can select your preview area, you can change the title of your board, and of course you can duplicate it or adjust your sharing settings from here as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename it. And that's all. All right, so that has now been saved into my Miro account. So if I go back to my Miro dashboard and I do a very quick refresh, I should now be able to see this in my main dashboard. All right, so there it is in my main Miro account. So now all I'm going to do is, as the speaker, I'm going to fill in the template that Katrina sent me. Once I'm happy and I'm ready for that to be imported into Remo, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share it back to Katrina or back to my event host the exact same way that she shared that original template. So once again, going into the blue share button, and essentially just editing the access for anyone with the link over here. And now you'll be able to see on a free plan, you're not actually able, sorry, I got that mixed up. On a free plan, you're not able to share with comment or with edit access. You can only choose between view or no access. And again, that's perfectly fine. So a speaker actually does not need to have a paid Miro account if you're going to be following the way that we're explaining it now, because they only need to really be responsible for their own whiteboard. So you can set that up as anyone with the link can view. And you're just going to copy the board link. And once again, I'm going to share that with Katrina so she can open it now in her Miro account and be able to import that directly into Remo. All right.
So if you have, if you want to share that with me.
So I'm just going to put this into the general chat. Everyone can see it then. And I'm going to go ahead and make yours primary now.
I go into here.
So if you want to copy.
Tasneem's going to walk me through this because this is my first time doing this.
So you can copy the link that I sent in the general chat now.
Okay, I did that.
You're going to open up a new tab, and you're going to have to paste the link into that new
Oh,
tab.
okay.
So you're going to still have to share your entire screen.
Is my entire screen shared? Can you guys see this?
No, we're still seeing your Miro dashboard right now.
Got it. Let me. I promise this is not my first time using it.
So it is a little bit technical, the kind of way that we're walking you through this, but essentially it is just about sharing your whiteboard or editing your sharing settings, duplicating them, sharing them back, and then importing them into Remo. All right, so as you can see, Katrina's just opened up my whiteboard. It's set to view only because that's the only way that I could share that off of a free plan. But again, that's not a problem. All she's going to do is she's going to go ahead and duplicate this whiteboard. So my speaker's whiteboard. And once again, to duplicate, you're just going to click on the title of the whiteboard and click duplicate. Yeah. All right, so that opens up a copied version of my speaker filled in whiteboard template. And now Katrina, as a smart event host, would probably rename it so that it matches the right name, or she doesn't get confused because she's going to have a whole host of speaker whiteboards saved to her Miro account. Yep. All right, so now you can see that my speaker filled in version of that whiteboard template is now saved to Katrina's Miro account, which is essentially the event host's Miro account. So now exactly as we showed you at the beginning of this masterclass, she can now go into our Remo event. She can then import that whiteboard onto the table, onto my, my speaker's table or my presentation table. And again, that's just by clicking that downward arrow and selecting the board that she's just duplicated.
And then what I will go in and do.
First of all, you're going to go into Remo community. Yeah. So that's another thing that we did also want to show you that there are, if your email account is associated with two different Miro accounts, you're going to have to pay a little bit more attention when you are importing boards, just to make sure that you're in the right company or in the right account that you'd save your board to. So yeah. So there you go. That's how you can share a template that you've created on Miro with your speakers, have your speakers fill in that template, share it back to you as the event host, and then have yourself import the boards once they're all filled up and ready.
And then the final thing I will do as a host is I will change the table name to, this is Tasneem Medical Research. The other thing that I can do as a good host is I can have one of my banners have a listing of who is presenting which table, which floor. Or we also gave a masterclass a couple weeks ago about a app called Glide. So a Glide app is something where you can create an external app where you create an Excel spreadsheet of who all of your presenters are, what their presentation topic is, and what table they're going to be at. You can even, if this is going to be asynchronous, have a link directly to that Miro board as a read-only if you want it to be able to be viewed prior to coming into the event as well. And you can publish that so you have an agenda that people can have either up as another tab or on their phone. But that is something we don't have a lot of time to talk about right now, but we do have that up in the community as another masterclass, and we will be shortly adding that to our main academy page as well. So the Glide. Let me
Yes,
here
I've posted the link to the recording into our general chat as well. So if anybody would like to take a look at that, it's in the general chat.
Perfect. Okay, so I stopped sharing. Back into tile view. Awesome. We do have a couple questions, and there's a few things that we need to clarify. So again, as of right now, nobody except for a host can upload a Miro board into Remo. That's why we wanted to show you how to share the template out, let your poster host, your, if it's a different use case, whoever that person is that creating it is, they create it and share it back to you as a host. and then the host goes from table to upload it. If somebody is creating something straight on the Miro whiteboard inside of Remo, there is no lockout controls because you're not importing it in. It's just what you see is what you get. So there is no way, because I think that's what you're asking, Ian, is if they're putting it just straight on Remo from coming into your event. So say they're a speaker and they come into your event, you sit them at their table, they create their whiteboard. It doesn't need to last for 24 hours. There is no functionality to lock it out. It has to be imported in from Miro to have the functionality and the capability to be able to have the controls to either make it editable, view only, read only, et cetera, because that is a functionality with Miro itself. So um, that would be the difference. I think that's one of the questions that you're asking. If they're What control so that's what control we have at Remo as to who can upload or change a Miro board at a table. So once the board is uploaded into Miro, you can, if it's uploaded from Miro, you can be in Miro making changes and updates to that board, and it will update inside of Remo. That is a capability. So if we upload a non-edit board, can anyone who is not an event host override that? What you see in Remo is what you get. If you import that board as a view only, it is view only. If you import it as comments, all your guests can do is make a comment. If you upload it as editable inside the Remo event, then everybody will have that toolbar and they can do the edits.
And also one thing to add on to that as well is when you were asking about can anybody override it, that import button that we've been talking so much about, again, remember that that's only available to an event host. So your guests and your speakers at the moment are not going to be able to see that import button. We are lobbying to see if we can get speakers to be able to see that in order for us to cut down on the number of steps that we just showed you and make that a little bit easier for speakers to be able to import. But as of right now in Remo, that import button is only shown to event hosts.
And one thing that I do want to show you is another great thing that Miro offers is they have their own community template. If you don't have time to create your own template, there are hundreds that you can search from, and that's how we found some of the templates that you saw inside our actual Miro account. So I can do either a search for topic of poster sessions, and what will come up is that keyword, or I can put job fair or job posting template. So right now there's nothing really for job fairs. Or you can search by, so I want to have a workshop. So what kind of workshop templates are there? What's something that's already existing that somebody has already created that I might be able to use? And it will give you thumbnails. And from that thumbnails, if you want to check it out and see more of like, okay, this might be interesting. Let me see what this is about. You click on it and it will go to this one where you can get a little bit more information on it. If you like it, you just use template and it imports it into your own account. So that is one thing that I wanted to show you. So that's the Miro.com/Miroverse, Miroverse. This is gated, so you do need to have at least a free account set up in Miro to be able to access this page. But this is another way that you can save yourself time if you don't want to create your own template. You can take one that's already created and modify it to your needs. Um, so since students have Miro free for 2 years, they're working in a group. Tamer Center, let me know if we did, through that presentation, ask that question. You're also asking, can you use Miro to present these slides, e.g. pitch day, demo day? You can use Miro, you can use Remo. Like, we are just talking about how to use it for poster sessions, but anything that you need to do a board for a presentation like pitch and demo day for angel investor pitches. They use this all the time because we do have those types of events held inside of Remo. Job fairs, I'm going to be using this and it's going to save me so much time because I normally had to build the boards for 45 to 85 different employers. And now I can say, here's the template, guys, just use this and I'll be able to upload it for you. So that's going to save me just weeks worth of work of having to populate that. So it's whichever use case that you have specifically. We just really wanted to touch on poster sessions because the academic year is coming up. And we do know that there's going to be a lot of use for this because we've heard from academic institutions, we have heard from professional associations in STEM focused that poster sessions are very, very, very big. Um, can you disable whiteboards? As of right now, you cannot disable whiteboards. That is something that I do believe um, we've had requests for, so I don't know what product is able to do with toggle switches, because the more toggle switches that we have for certain things, the more complicated it becomes, and we are also constantly hearing that things are too complicated. So as of right now, whiteboard is an added feature. Cannot be disabled. You just don't necessarily have to tell your guests about them. And 9 times out of 10, if a guest is not told that they exist, they do not find them. So that's part of your pre-event education. And if they do find them, they're like, "Hey, what's this? Oh, that's cool," and then off they go to the next thing. So as of right now, unfortunately, whiteboards cannot be disabled. Um, Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure I follow this exactly. As a host, do we have to import a board into our Miro account to be able to upload it? I.e., can we take an address from someone for their Miro board and use that address to upload their board? Taz, have you tried
So
this?
yeah, so I did try this because I did a lot of experimentation. We were trying to figure out the best way to kind of share templates with speakers in advance. So at the moment, you actually do need a Miro board does need to be in your Miro account under your boards to be able to import it into Remo. So just because you star or you favorite a Miro board and it goes into your starred boards, that does not mean that you can import it into Remo. It does need to be in your main Miro My Boards page.
Mhm. So, hopefully, I know that was really quick and it was a really fast overview. We do have a lot of help articles around Miro. We have content because ever since we found out that Deskel was going away at the beginning of July, we really put a concerted effort into ramping up our education efforts, our videos, our sessions around how to use Miro, how to use Miro whiteboards, things that you can do effectively. And we really wanted to look at how your time can be saved as a host. Um, and that's again, this is an evolving process. So we as hosts feel some of those challenges of, oh man, I have to do this at every single table. That's why we've taken it back to ask, hey, can we save some time and have people be invited as speakers, be able to upload their own boards. So we really are looking out for some of those things as well to make time easier. If we are able to do that, then we will make the announcements that that has been updated. It will be in the change log. We will definitely make sure that you guys know that we are constantly finding ways to make this easier, less complex for you. Um, you can create your own template from scratch. You can do whatever you want that's going to be most effective for your event as a host. If there's any questions that you guys have about this, Tasneem and I are both very accessible inside the Remo community, the Remo Revolution community. Like I said, we do have a lot of learning. Miro itself has a lot of learning in their academy. They have a lot of great tips and hints about things that you can do inside of Miro, but you can look at Tasneem and us, Tasneem and myself as like the bridge. Like, how is Miro working inside of Remo? And again, like I said, you may look at the Miro whiteboard inside of Remo and then look at the Miro whiteboard inside of Miro and realize, oh, okay, icons. Like one of the big things that I found is that the Remo version does not have icons. So I needed to get Facebook and LinkedIn and uh, a couple of these other social icons, and I found them inside the Miro account once I got my Miro, because I was dragging, kicking, and screaming. I'm like, I don't want another account. I don't want another login. But I will say that it has been so worthwhile and it has been such a time saver for me to be able to do these things in advance. And now I've created the whiteboard one, and I've already used it at 6 different workshops or success labs. And the templates save from workshop to workshop, and it's just so simple for me now. It's a huge, huge, huge time saver, because before I could only download it as a photograph, and I have to recreate it over and over and over and over and over again. Um, so the Glide app, um, really quickly, I can pull that up so you guys can see. So you can have the link to it. This is yet another enhancement that we can recommend as a third party, so that way you guys can have another solution to manage. So in the Glide app, um, you have, I'm not sure. So they have it like this, but like, for example, you can have a picture of what the topic is, who's the presenter, where they are located, and it could be either for the phone or the desktop. And this could be sent out in advance to kind of help you organize your agenda. And it's super, super. If I can do this, because I am not a coder, I don't understand anything, but this to me is just like why I love Canva so much. I create it in an Excel spreadsheet. I upload it to this site, and it does all the work for me. I just plug and play and a little bit of modification. And literally in 15 minutes, I had my shell that I was able to push out. And this is what I'm going to be using for my next job fair, so that it can organize everything for my job seekers as well. Same thing is if you have people from all over the world, or you have like a really upper level, like master's level or professional association level poster session, where it's going to be very helpful to have things organized by category. This is a great way to do it. So you can use this as a supplement to your guests, to be able to um, have that added experience. And I use it for free. There are more bells and whistles if you pay for it, but I have the free, and it just works perfectly fine. Henri Timmerman, who is in our community, he's one of our custom floor plan designers. He helped me with our initial um, use for education masterclass last month, and he told us all about this. And so then we did our own masterclass just on this. Else? Oh, there's Henri. Hello, Henri. Thank you. And Henri is my MVP for July. He is my hero among heroes because that thing has saved me. I didn't realize that you were here, Henri. Thank you so much. So, please, please, please find him. And if you have questions about that, I'm just throwing you out there, Henri. If you have questions about that, he is also in the community as well. So I don't see any more Q&A. Does anybody else have questions for us? If not, what we will do is we can shut down the presentation mode, and you can go into conversation mode and play around with a couple of the whiteboards that we have set up. Yes, Ian, you can embed iframe into Miro. The other thing that we did want to announce is that we understand that there are challenges for individuals with disabilities with accessing virtual platforms, no matter where they are. Miro has started to steps for screen readers. So if you have somebody who has a screen reader and they need to access a Miro whiteboard, there is an entire section on accessibility that Miro has just literally launched out. It was in my change log yesterday. I can't remember where to find my change log to get you guys that information. Like I said, I am still kind of newish to Miro as well, but in their change log, here we go. I found it. They have a mobile app as well. Um, New Academy course, Figma, iframe, sorry, I'm looking for it. But they just, here we go. It's more accessibility. So here's their accessibility change log. I am going to put this in here in the chat. So if you have folks that have need for screen readers, this is the statement on the improvements that they have made and how it can function with it. Um, and Ian, the larger table names in the meet and greet, any idea when we might be able to play with that? That is again something that is inherent in the actual floor plan creation itself. It is not something that's inherent in Rio. So it's how the floor plan itself is created. So All right. Does anybody have any other questions related to whiteboards, whiteboarding, Miro, and how we integrate into Remo? If not, I'm going to do my going once, going once, going twice. Go. Okay, great. So thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, just to put a plug in, on Mondays we have Success Labs where you can join us and have topic-based discussions. So we dive in a little bit further on some of these topics every single Monday at 9 a.m. Going forward, looking in September, we are most likely dropping those down to every other Monday. We will be taking September 6th off because it is a bank holiday here in the United States and Canada. And more importantly, it's the day after my birthday. So I'm going to take a long weekend. Yay! Um, so thank you guys so very much. If you have questions about this, if you are watching this on the replay and you have questions, please ask your questions inside the community, which is remo-revolution.mn.co. That's how you can access the community. Remo Revolution. Is it Remo-Revolution, right, Taz?
Open
Remo-Revolution.
revolution.
Yeah, remo-revolution.mn.co for those of you guys who are watching this on the replay. Thank you guys so very much. And I appreciate you coming here. I appreciate you guys watching this on the replay. Again, my name is Katrina. And as always, this is my bestie. This is Tasneem. And together we are here to help you with anything that you may need. If you have questions for follow-up, you can always email success@remo.co, success @remo.co. Make sure you're not autocorrecting to remo.com because that is a drum company and they will not most likely be able to answer any of your questions related to virtual events. Drum circles, yes, virtual events, not so much. So thank you guys very much, and we will see you down in conversation mode.